The morning sun reflected off the glass walls of the largest private hospital in the city as luxury cars arrived one after another. Cameras flashing, reporters whispering, names filled with power and money among them walked. Julian Armand, a legendary PDG, whose fortune was known across the country, a man respected, feared, and admired, yet behind his tailored suit and confident steps hid a heart that had long forgotten warmth. Julian believed emotions slowed people down, compassion distracted focus, and love was a weakness he could not afford. Today he was here to announce a massive donation to the hospital, a public gesture that would polish his image even more. While he walked toward the entrance surrounded by assistants, his attention was suddenly caught by a small figure sitting near the hospital steps. A little girl with tangled hair, oversized shoes, and a thin sweater despite the cold breeze, her hands clutched a folder of medical papers, her eyes fixed on every person who passed, hoping one of them would stop. Her name was Emma. She was only 6 years old. But life had already taught her silence, patience, and courage. Inside the hospital, her mother lay on a bed, weak from illness, every breath a struggle. The doctors had said surgery could save her, but the cost was impossible for them. Emma had not cried when she heard the news. She simply decided to wait outside and ask for help, believing that kindness still existed somewhere in the world. When Julian passed by, Emma gathered all her courage and stood up, her small legs shaking. She approached him carefully and asked in a soft voice if he could help her mother. Security immediately moved to stop her, but Julian raised his hand, intrigued by her calm eyes. He looked at the medical papers, listened to her simple explanation, and for reasons he did not understand, felt a tightness in his chest. Something about the girl felt familiar, uncomfortable, yet he brushed it aside, telling himself it was just pity. In front of cameras and doctors, he announced he would cover all medical expenses and donate $1 million to the hospital in the girl's name. Applause erupted. Reporters praised his generosity. Emma looked at him with wide eyes, bowed politely, and thanked him again and again, gripping a small necklace around her neck as if it gave her strength. Julian nodded briefly and walked away, believing the story had ended there. The surgery was performed successfully, and for a brief moment hope returned. Emma stayed by her mother's side every day, holding her hand, whispering stories, but fate was cruel. Complications followed, and one quiet night her mother passed away, leaving the little girl alone in the world. Emma did not scream or cry loudly. She simply held her mother's hand until it grew cold. The nurses later found her asleep beside the bed, clutching the necklace her mother had always told her never to lose. With no relatives to claim her, Emma was sent to an orphanage, where nights were long and loneliness heavier than hunger. Julian returned to his life of meetings, deals, and endless numbers, yet something had changed. He found himself thinking about the girl unexpectedly, wondering if her mother had recovered, annoyed at himself for caring. Months later, during a charity event organized at his estate, several orphanages were invited. Children filled the halls with laughter that felt strange in a house usually silent. Julian walked among them politely until he froze standing near the window was Emma, a little taller, now quieter, wearing the same necklace. When she saw him, recognition lit her eyes. She smiled shyly and called him Monsieur. Julian felt his heart beat faster for no logical reason. He spoke to her again, learned she was now an orphan. Something inside him shifted, and he decided to sponsor her education and care, convincing himself it was simply responsibility. Years passed. Emma grew into a bright and gentle child, excelling at school, while Julian unknowingly grew attached, attending events from afar, checking her reports, making sure she lacked nothing, yet still refusing to question why she mattered so much. The truth waited silently in the past. Many years earlier, before Julian became the powerful man he was, there had been a woman named Claire, a woman he loved deeply, but left behind when ambition consumed him. She disappeared from his life without explanation, and Julian never looked back, never knowing she was pregnant. Claire raised her daughter alone, hiding pain behind strength until illness claimed her. One evening, Julian came across an old document from a foundation he had once planned with Claire. A symbol printed on it caught his eye, the same symbol engraved on Emma's necklace. Panic seized him. Memories resurfaced violently. He ordered a private investigation. DNA tests were arranged quietly, and when the results arrived, Julian's world collapsed. Emma was his daughter. The million he had given was not generosity. It was fate mocking him. Guilt crushed him as memories replayed the hunger she endured, the nights she cried alone, the life He lived in luxury while his child begged for help. Julian rushed to the orphanage under heavy rain. When Emma saw him, she smiled as always. But Julian fell to his knees before her, tears streaming, confessing the truth, telling her he was her father. Emma listened silently, her small face unreadable. Then she asked why he hadn't come earlier, and Julian had no answer. He took her home, not to the mansion of glass and marble, but to a quieter house. Choosing presence over pride for the first time in his life, earning her trust was slow and painful. Filled with awkward silences and gentle moments, Emma did not reject him. But she did not call him Papa either. Julian learned to cook, to wait, to listen, to apologize without excuses. Wealth lost its meaning as he discovered the weight of responsibility and love. One evening years later, Emma placed the necklace into his hand, opening it to reveal an engraving that matched a ring Julian had kept from Claire, together forming a complete symbol of family. Emma hugged him tightly and whispered, "Papa," and Julian broke down, realizing too late that true riches are not measured in millions, but in the people we choose not to abandon. This is a story of destiny, regret, and love rediscovered, reminding us that money can save lives, but only love can make them whole. If this story touched your heart, remember to subscribe for more emotional stories that reveal the truths we often realize too late.